Atlanta News First Plus starts now.
And thank you for joining me here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. I am Maria Moreau, taking you out to a picture of a community in Locust Grove that is now at the center of an officer-involved shooting investigation. And the details that we keep getting into the newsroom just keep getting more and more devastating. Here's what we currently know as we continue to follow this breaking news story. A shooting took place here earlier this morning out in Henry County. While officers were responding to a house fire earlier around 3:40 this morning, they say that they found a man with a large knife. Now, after multiple de-escalation efforts, the man was shot and killed. Officers then proceeded up the stairs of the home and found a dead woman inside where the fire that they had initially responded to was still blazing. 2 other adults and a child were locked inside another bedroom. We are working to get more details about their condition and who they were, as well as more information about the suspect, who we can tell you right now, police have confirmed is dead. He was involved in an officer-involved shooting, so 2 people are dead, the woman who is believed to be a victim, and of course the suspect, the man who was wielding the large knife. We are going to stay on top of this. Our Atlanta News First, Don Shipman, will have a report for you coming up for our news at noon. And September 4th marks a tragic day here in Georgia as we reflect on the 1-year anniversary of the Appalachia High School shooting. Now, since that tragic day, there has been numerous conversation both among lawmakers, among community members in Barrow County about how to better protect our young people. Just to give you the context of where we were 1 year ago today, a gunman opened fire on students and staff at Appalachia High School, and 2 students were killed. 14-year-old Christian Angulo and 14-year-old Mason Schermerhorn, and 2 teachers as well lost their lives. 39-year-old Richard Aspinwall and 53-year-old Christina Irimi. 9 others were injured. Atlanta News First, Sarah Hammond is now at Appalachia High School, where it is understandably an emotional day for many.
The school district says for any students who don't want to be here at the school today, they will have an excused absence. But for the students and teachers who do come to school today, it's not going to be a regular school day. It's something they're calling a day of prevailing love. Now, the school day is going to start with a community service project and a message from an inspirational speaker. There will also be a focus throughout the day on healing activities and mental health support sessions. We'll also surely see lots of blue and gold clothing everywhere in a show of strength and support. Those are the Appalachia High School colors. And we've spoken to a number of students in the past year about their experiences that day, as well as their parents. Many of them have said it's something they would not wish on anyone, but also emphasize the importance of remembering that day.
It's just not something you want to ever have to accept, I guess.
I don't want them to live in fear for their life, but at the same time, I don't want it to just be forgotten.
Tonight at 7, people will gather at the flagpole out in the front of the school for a vigil. That is also where the memorial sat following the shooting a year ago. And in a letter, the Appalachia High School principal thanked everyone for their love, support, and compassion over the last year. At Appalachia High School, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
We are continuing to follow the developments in the legal part of this for the suspected shooter Colt Gray and his father Colin Gray, who are both charged in connection to that school shooting. Colt Gray is accused of carrying out the attack using an AR-style rifle. He faces more than 50 charges, including felony and malice murder. He has pleaded not guilty, and his attorneys have requested a change of venue for his pending trial. Another hearing for him is set for sometime in October. Atlanta News First has been covering this shooting over the last year and will be at today's numerous events that are happening across the state, starting with when we took you out to the state capitol this morning for remarks from lawmakers. We will continue into this evening. A vigil is expected at 7 p.m. And to see more of our coverage, you can download the free Atlanta News First app as we report on this story and the many more happening in and around our community. I want to take you out to this next story that we first broke to you on air and online yesterday, involving a garbage truck. A community in Cobb County slowly working to get their power back this morning after that devastating crash involving the truck, the vehicle rolling into the front yard of a home and then catching fire. Atlanta News First, Alani Latang reports from Smyrna.
I was at home working, my husband was in the kitchen, there was a terrible boom, like a truck hit my house, lost power immediately, and my husband looked out the window and he said, "Oh my God, a truck hit our house and our house is on fire, run and call 911. And that's what I did.
Running out of the house barefoot with her husband, Sally Rice looks back at the mess left after this garbage truck crashed in their front yard, catching the outside of their home on fire.
We have windows busted out. We will not be in our home for months.
Cobb County says a garbage truck owned by Waste Connections lost control, rolled down a hill, missing any houses, but striking a tree and a car. Officials say the car and the truck caught fire, then spread to the outside of Sally's home and part of the exterior of the home next door. Officials say one of the sanitation workers has minor injuries, the other worker none. The garbage truck left smoking for hours. The contents inside continued blazing. To the garbage truck company, Sally says,
I'm so incredibly disappointed that the garbage truck company who was driving the truck, nobody has come and spoke to us. Nobody's arrived on the scene. It has devastated our home. I have a cat in there that I hope is still alive.
Several hours later, her cat is out safely. I'm Alani Latang, Atlanta News First.
And this story that we're continuing to follow, starting at 10 a.m. today, U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. speaking before a congressional committee, addressing his healthcare agenda and also answering some rather heated questions about the current turmoil at the federal agencies. We are streaming that for you right now on YouTube Live and in the free Atlanta News First app under our Courts and Trials channel. I do want to take you momentarily into that hearing right now so you can follow along with what we are watching.
To see the data and talk about the data.
You have had this job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved
and
lives?
that's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration, absolutely dismal.
So who is politicizing? You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data? Go back to what Senator Cantwell just said.
Fired Dr.
Go to
Krause.
the Trump Surgeon General.
They fired Dr. Krause. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Krause.
So, Mr. Chairman, the Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID. Doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And you are sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant? Like, I remember when we went through the hearing with you, I asked you about community health centers. You didn't know what role they play. I've been visiting community. I'm glad you got to one. I think in April. I tell you what I hear on community health centers, they are terrified, with all due respect to my good friend, the chairman, of the big awful bill, because they are going to lose health care across the board. They already live in food deserts. They can't get to a nutritionist because Medicaid doesn't do enough reimbursement. If you're going to want Americans to get healthier, should they have access to nutritionists?
So there you have it. If you want to continue following our coverage here as we take you inside of that congressional hearing, you can. Again, that is going to be streaming for you on our Courts and Trials channel in the free Atlanta News First app and on Atlanta News First Plus. All right, I want to talk about the weather for a moment here as we inch closer and closer to the weekend. A lot of you starting to make your plans, hopefully, for how you're going to spend that much-deserved time away from work. Let's get a check of your forecast with First Alert meteorologist Rodney Harris.
Okay, Maria, so one thing you'll know for sure is we're heating up, and we've been talking about this all week long, but earlier this week, really last week, temperatures were really nice and pleasant. Now it's going to start to feel a little bit more like summer here as we end the week and go into the upcoming weekend. That is a live look over Atlanta. It's 81 degrees outdoors right now, so two things will happen over the next several days. Not only will the temperature go up, but the humidity levels are going to go up as well, so it really will feel like summer. Going to start sweating again if you're going to be outdoors in the afternoon. 87 is the high today for perspective. Yesterday's high was 85 degrees, so a little bit warmer this afternoon. The normal for this time of year is actually 87, so we're average. We've been below average for the past week. We're at average today. In the upper 70s, that yellow that you see in the higher elevations of the mountains. So here's a look at our radar right now. First alert radar isn't showing much. We have had some showers, even a few thunder showers up there in the mountains this morning. That's basically where the rain has stayed. Throughout the course of the afternoon, though, like we saw yesterday, we could see some isolated showers and storms, particularly as you're driving home from work. I think the kiddos will be fine at 3 o'clock as you're picking them up from school. But 4 or 5, 6 o'clock, as you can see, these are tiny little showers, so it's not much, but a thunder shower or two will be possible around 5, 6 o'clock. Again, that's as you're coming home from work. The coverage will be around 30%, and that'll continue through sunset. After sunset, the chance of rain should start to go down. We were watching initially what may have been a line of storms trying to move in late tonight. That's not really showing up as much anymore, but we'll be here keeping you up to date on that as well throughout the course of the afternoon. Going into Friday, 92 degrees, so we're going to stay in a warm, sort of humid environment on Friday, so we've actually added a 20% chance of more isolated thunder showers for Friday afternoon, but it wouldn't be much. You certainly don't have to cancel your plans. In fact, the Braves should be in pretty good shape. 7:15 is first pitch against Seattle. If you're headed out to Truist Park, it will be hot and humid, so I do want to point that out. But it won't rain, and if you're not going to Truist Park, of course, you can watch that game on Atlanta News First. For Saturday, we have a cold front moving through. Saturday's high is 90. I actually just looked at some model data. It looks like Saturday may be trending a bit wetter as this front moves through, so stay tuned on Saturday. But you may have more of an impact on Saturday as the latest models are showing it just a touch wetter. We'll continue to evaluate that data throughout the course of the afternoon. We have a 30% chance right now because it didn't initially look like much rain, but our latest runs are coming in wetter and maybe like the middle of the day as well. So Saturday may not be as good as it looks on that 7-day, but First Alert meteorologist Ella Dorsey, she's working on that updated forecast for you now that she'll have at noon. And definitely stay tuned throughout the course of the day. I know Saturday's a big day. It's the weekend, so we want to make sure that we time that rain for you appropriately, and we will be updating that forecast throughout the evening. I know for sure that by Sunday it'll be nice because the cold front that will produce our storms on Saturday will move through. So Sunday that high will drop back down to 85. It'll be completely dry. We know that Sunday is going to be the better day this weekend. And a really nice start to next week. Drier air moves back in, so highs are going to drop back into the low 80s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And more importantly, those lows in the morning are going to drop back into the low 60s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. Low 60s in Atlanta. Maybe some upper 50s will squeeze out in the suburbs. So we will get a bit of fall back into the forecast for next week after our brief taste of summer today, tomorrow. And Saturday, let's look at your forecast. We hope you guys have an amazing Thursday. We'll keep you up to date again on Atlanta News First at noon. You can always find the forecast in the First Alert Weather app. And until next time, we'll see you soon.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.